so that people can just join in. I'm just giving a couple of minutes before we start because people are going to be 1 or 2 minutes late as usual. I'll start in about 1 minute time, yeah? So at about 7:05 UK time. What time is it there, Carlos, in Silicon Valley at the moment?
It is 11 now.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. That's interesting. Okay, so I think I might as well start because people will just come in and I'll just start it slowly. Everyone can hear me. So this course is an exciting course because two reasons. One is everyone thinks they know everything about productivity. They work like 50 hours a week. They're always working, always busy. But the way I look at it is very different. And a lot of the other courses, I do not want to put other productivity courses down because they all try, if you go on any course, you learn something. But I think they're too focused on simple things like, do not get distracted, or make sure email is 0, or you should be motivated and focused. I'm looking at the whole picture, absolute everything, your mental health, physical health, your environment, your technology. And the key aspect of this course, which is, I think, different from the others, I'm looking for optimal performance. So I'm looking how, over a period of time, if you implement what I say regularly every day, you can actually be very top tier. Optimal performance means on the top tier. So everything is to get you moving to the top tier. This is a 2-hour course. We won't have time to go through the whole 2 hours. So basically there'll be an introduction for about 15 minutes, telling you what productivity is. Then I go through some key principles. Then we'll go into more detail of specific tips and tactics. And then we can do a Q&A at the end. But you can always ask me throughout the course. You can ask me any questions on the chat. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask me. I think people will still, Enrica's come in as well. We'll just start in a minute. Hello, Enrica. I hope you can hear me. I was just waiting for you. We'll start the course. We haven't started yet. If you want to put in your contact details, email, LinkedIn, or where you're from in the UK or in the world. Some people are from Silicon Valley, some are from Italy. So I know where you're from. So I'll start the course now. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. You can ask me questions. Some people will be joining the course. It's based on the Udemy course. Hello and welcome to this course on productivity and time management. My name is Osman De Silva, and I'm the founder of Tech Citizen Entrepreneurship Academy based in London. Section 1, Introduction. The main objectives of this course is A, value and high performance, for you to be a more valuable person. To do this, you have to be a high performer in everything that you do. To be of value, you will have to give value to others. The more value you give, the more valuable you become. You give value by serving and solving. B, skills and experience. You have to develop the skills and experience in order to get to the top. You will need to carve out your character and have a unique identity. This means you need to equip yourself with all the skills required to move forward and succeed. C, service and success. After you master the above points, you will be successful and reap the rewards. However, first, you have to be of service to your customers. You do this by producing or creating things that are useful to and will benefit the customer. In turn, the customer pays you back for the services you provide. From now on, when the word customer is used, it refers to both internal and external customers. The internal customer is everyone you work with in an organization or workplace. The external customer is a person you sell your goods and services to. Questions to think about: macro and micro level. You have got to look at the big, wider picture as well. The micro is about you, your colleagues, your company, and competitors. The macro view is about the government, other countries, and globalization. Myself, can I be more productive? Other people, why are some people more productive? For example, top salespeople. Other companies, why are small entrepreneurial companies so productive? What can we learn from small entrepreneurial companies that are successful? They're flexible, agile, have a good culture, and are quick to adapt to change. This is mainly due to small teams that can move fast and react to the changing environment. Other countries. Why are some small countries like Sweden and Israel so productive? Scandinavian workers work fewer hours per week than most people, usually less than 30 hours, and have one of the best work-life balances. Yet, they're highly productive as a nation with a small population. Why? Yeah, couple of things to think about with productivity. I think the first starting point is always thinking about yourself. How can I be more productive, and how can I be more productive every day? So it's like a measurement. How can I improve? Also, we have to think of countries and regions that are very highly productive. So when I did this course the last time, someone from Singapore came in. We know that it's not only big countries like America that are highly productive. Places like Singapore, Sweden, Israel are productive for various reasons. And I was speaking to Carlos, who's based in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is supposed to be a very productive area. People coming up with very fresh ideas. They use a lot of technology, very innovative and stuff like that. So first think about yourself, and then think about regions in the world that are productive. Why is productivity crucial to understand? It is the difference between success and failure. It is about prosperity and progress. The people, organizations, and countries that are highly productive are moving forward, and the rest get left behind. We are living in an interconnected generation that is increasingly globalized. We are not living or working in a vacuum or an isolated space. This is the information age, and we are knowledge workers. It is a big transition from the industrial age and its manual labor workforce. So, what worked for us in the past may not be useful in the future. Why is productivity crucial to understand? So that we get better at the tasks we do. We can use the time given to us diligently. We are able to maintain ourselves over the long term, usually years, and this requires a high level of sustainability. And finally, we become successful in achieving our goals. This course is for entrepreneurs, startup founders, and all professionals. It is for people who work in organizations of all sizes and stages. About myself, I'm an experienced mentor and business coach at Tech Citizen Entrepreneurship Academy in London. Okay, about myself, I mean, I think there's a lot of information about me you can read up or you can find. It's not that important. What is important is just to say that I'm putting in 30 years of knowledge and experience in this course. So in fact, all the courses I do in Udemy, and I've worked in many, many different industries, small, medium, startups, scale-ups, international, with all types of people. So I'm learning what works, and I can see, and I've been a contractor for over 10 years. I can see what's working, what's not working, how things are changing. And that's what I'm putting into this course. So you can quality business content and a lot that does not. Quick thing before I quick question for you. Can you tell me I'll put a question in here. I want to know how would you define, I put the question in the chat box. Can you just tell me what do you think, just briefly, what do you think if someone told you on the street, what does productivity mean? Or someone at your workplace told you what does productivity mean? Just give me in few words what you would say it is. Yeah, I can see Oweri Owaka from Yorkshire, pleasant place. Can you just put in a few words of what you think the word productivity means to you? Doesn't have to be a sentence, just few words, whatever comes to your mind. The capacity to use tools. That's a good definition. The capacity to use tools to be effectively industrious, or it has got a good, and now the tools, you've got to be using the right tools for the right job. And the way technology is changing, we've got so many tools to select from, right? Yes, getting a lot done in an acceptable time. So it's getting things done. Simon, thanks for that. Carlos, a measurement of how much output is achieved compared to I think Carlos is actually the closest we'll see. It really is, if you talk of like numbers, it's output divided by input. That's what Carlos is saying. Tools, techniques, rituals, practices. Yes, rituals, practices, routines, very important, because you have to do that every day to get good at something. You have to keep on doing it every day. And I have a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Let's look at some of the definitions. Actually, the definitions you'll give me are very, very good. But let's see what the exact definitions are. And a lot that does not. A good starting point is the understanding of definitions. As you will see that there's an overlap between these definitions, but each has its own meaning. Productivity, the quality, state, or fact of being able to generate, create, enhance, or bring forth goods and services. Productivity focuses on getting the maximum production per worker or unit of machine per minute, hour, day, or week. The key word in this definition is maximum. This is about maximizing output. We need to obtain the highest level of output for any given set of inputs. This is also referred to peak or optimal state. Efficiency, able to accomplish something with the least waste of time and effort, competency and performance. Efficiency looks more at eliminating waste and maximizing quality. You will need to use all the resources and inputs provided to you carefully. This is about minimizing inputs and reducing wastage. Efficiency is also referring to performance. Performance, the execution or accomplishment of work, acts, feats. The most important word here is execution, which means getting the task done correctly and to a high standard. This is about doing the right things at the right time and in the right order. Paul Meyer is considered the pioneer of the self-improvement industry. He became recognized as one of the world's foremost authorities in the field of goal setting, motivation, time management, and personal development. His courses and programs have sold more than $2 billion worldwide. His famous quote on productivity: "Productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort." Productivity is never an accident. This means that it's not something that is random and occurs out of nowhere. He refers to 4 keywords: commitment, excellence, planning, and focus. The word excellence refers to the high standard we attain in all our work. This is summed up in the Greek word arete, A-R-E-T-E. It will also require you to fully commit to the task at hand and take full responsibility for all your actions. Productivity in its simplest form is made up of 3 stages. A, you are given one task. B, you start it. And C, you complete it. So, you have to understand, implement, and master these 3 steps to be productive. We need to ask ourselves the big question: how can we learn and implement these steps and be productive in an information age and globalization era? Right. This diagram is always very important. I try to make it very simple, A, B, and C. But the issues we're going to have, and I see most people having, is in the completed stage, everything I said must be of a very, very high standard of output, and you've got to complete on time. You have deadlines and deliverables. That's the word we use. At the starting stage, you will see planning, what I call extreme planning, not just normal planning. Extreme planning is very important. Before you even go to stage B, you've got to plan very carefully. And also, there is a problem people have when they come on to difficult tasks. They find it very challenging to start. So there's always the issue of procrastination. Also, the important point I mentioned at the beginning, when we're talking of productivity, we are not talking of how many hours you work. Everyone's working 40, 50 hours a week. Productivity has got virtually nothing or little to do with hours. It's the output, as you'll see in the next slide. All of productivity at the macro and micro level works or operates as a system. At the micro level, this applies to people and companies they work in. At the macro level, it applies to governments, countries, the earth, and even the universe. For example, we talk about the financial system, the ecosystem, and the solar system. With all systems, the outputs are only as good as the inputs. So we say garbage in, garbage out when things go badly. In the diagram in front of you, there are inputs on the left. For example, resources, raw materials, labor hours. There is a box in the middle, and this could be a process or procedure in a factory or office environment. The outputs is the end product or service for ourselves or our customers to use or consume. Let's look at a couple of examples. The first example, you as a system, your inputs are healthy eating, good sleep and rest, regular exercise and self-development. The process is about your learning, internalizing and practice. The outputs are your products and services which are of a high standard. The second example is a car as a system. The inputs are fuel and maintenance. The outputs are the distance traveled or mileage. We can look at a system from an organizational standpoint. This could be a company, the government, or a factory. So, we can boil productivity down to a simple formula. Productivity is equal to output divided by input. Take a simple example. For example, a barista that serves you coffee at your coffee shop. If the barista is able to make on average 30 cups of coffee per hour, the productivity is 30 cups of output per barista, for each barista. Now, we can see why this formula is powerful. It can be used to compare the output of your colleagues to yourself, given the same or similar set of inputs. Compare the outputs of other companies producing the same goods or services. This is also called a benchmark or benchmarking. Compare the outputs of countries that are roughly similar. This is called the GDP or gross domestic product. Note, for these comparisons, we have to compare like with like. That is, comparing apples with apples. So this is first about 15 minutes, section 1, which is just the introduction. Now we go into key productivity principles, which is another 15 minutes. Section 2, key productivity principles. Predictors of productivity. A trainer of horses will tell this to his horse riding students. Within a few seconds of riding a horse, the horse can tell how experienced or good you are as a rider. So, if you are a newbie, then you are in for a rough ride. The horse will be taking you for a ride and not the other way around. I can tell the state of a company and the professionals that work in them within a few minutes of a visit. There are key indicators that I'm picking up and absorbing around me with all my senses. Always aim and strive to get good at these key areas. 1. First impressions are important. Be punctual, tidy, and respectful of other people and things. People who meet you for the first time will judge you on your first appearance. This is particularly important, for example, during an interview process or when meeting an investor for the first time. 2. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Always do all tasks to a high standard. This includes all the low-level activities like photocopying, emails, meetings, etc. Train your mind and body to do all tasks well and at all times. 3. Order and organization of things. Keep everything neat and tidy. Keep everything organized and in order. Always start the morning with an empty desk and end the day with an empty desk. 4. Clarity versus clutter. Avoid clutter and hoarding. This refers to your physical and mental space. Think big, act small. Most of the explorers and travelers setting out on expeditions have to be good at two things. One, visualizing the end goal. They need to plan carefully, have the knowledge, and be able to see or visualize the end goal clearly. For example, this can be the mountain top or the country of destination for long-distance traveler. And secondly, be able to take small steps towards that goal. Every step counts in a long journey. One wrong step could mean the difference between life and death. For example, for a mountain climber, this is crucial for them to know where they are stepping. We need the experience to execute and progress. So every task you do involves a mix of doing small things well, and you have to have a mental image or picture of what the achievement of your goal would be like. Also, it takes many small steps executed correctly to make something big. So let's review the 4 points on this slide. Success comes in small wins. There is no big bang or fireworks. Be lean, which means being flexible, adaptable, agile, and frugal with all your resources. Start off as an apprentice. Be humble. Master all the tiny tasks, which will require a lot of practice and patience from you. And finally, take one step at a time. Do not jump before you can walk. Anders Ericsson is an expert and researcher of high performance. His quote, "The right sort of practice carried out over a sufficient period of time leads to improvement, nothing else." What can we say about the type of practice? First, daily practice is important. Do not make excuses or do not have any downtime. Second, quality of practice is important. Commit to excellence and be exceptional in everything you do. This is the Greek word arete. Third, long periods of time is required, in years and even more years. That is delayed gratification. There are no quick returns. Rome was not built in a day. Practice is the key to unlocking tasks. Practice makes progress. Practice makes perfect. Also, practice requires patience. There is more to this. The right sort of practice is important. It must include following the right steps at the right pace or speed in the right order. That is, do not run before you can walk, because it's easy to fall into the rabbit's hole. Expand on your strengths. Improve on your weaknesses. Do things daily that are outside of your comfort zone. For example, doing a complicated cooking recipe for the first time can be very challenging. However, getting good at making the dish after several failed attempts is rewarding. The time factor is important. You will need lots of time to get good at anything that is worthwhile. Be prepared for the long road ahead, both mentally and physically. Treat all of your time wisely and carefully. This includes your work time and your free time. Make every minute of every day count. Successful people understand the importance and value of time. High performers achieve more in any given amount of time when compared to the rest. Therefore, time is the most valuable of all assets. 1. Time is a limited fixed resource. Everyone gets 24 hours in a day. In a world that is constantly changing, the time we all get stays constant. Second, lost, wasted time cannot be recovered. Manage your minutes. Money that is lost or spent can be recovered in the future. However, the same does not apply to your time. 3. Always measure return on time, not just return on investment. For every hour you spend each day, think about the return on what you will get back for this time that you invested. 4. Value your time more than your money, because every minute counts. Being proactive is key to being a high performer, being successful, and being a leader. Be proactive in everything you do. Be proactive with all your work and with the people you meet. Being proactive is about taking the lead and showing your initiative. You take the initiative when 1. You are able to carefully plan before events and before taking action. 2. You are ahead of timelines, deadlines, and tasks or deliverables. 3. You are able to anticipate and solve problems before they arise. And 4. You are action-oriented, being active and resourceful. Be like Sherlock Holmes. Be steps ahead of the game and well ahead of others. Make sure to know your subject matter extremely well and at all times. Sherlock Holmes is known for his proficiency with observation, forensic science, and logical reasoning that borders on the fantastic, which he employs when investigating cases for a wide variety of clients, including Scotland Yard in London. Consider the professionals we use the services of in our daily lives. For example, do you want to know a doctor who is thorough, knowledgeable, treats you as an individual, and investigates the causes of your problem? Is he good at diagnosing and detecting problems like Sherlock Holmes? Do you want to know a chef who knows about healthy eating, nutrition, diet, exercise, and longevity? Does he know all about his subject, like Sherlock? What can you offer your customers that will make you highly sought after and valued? Stephen Covey is considered to be the father of effective working and personal development. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Covey's best-known book, has sold more than 25 million copies worldwide since its first publication in 1989. He uses the word habit to mean that you should practice all of these principles every day as part of your daily routine. It is important to review these 7 habits. First habit, be proactive. I discussed the first habit of being proactive. He says that all of the other 6 habits follow from this first and primary one. This means if you are not proactive, then you cannot do the rest of the 6 habits. Second habit, begin with the end in mind. Start with your end goals and vision. Goals give us a direction to work towards, so this prevents us from drifting off course. Third habit, put first things first. This is about prioritization. Get the most important things done first. Do not procrastinate. Fourth habit, think win-win. Think of everyone as winners, yourself and your customers. Make sure that everyone involved in your deals is a winner. Fifth habit, seek to understand first, then to be understood. This is about empathy and understanding the other person's point of view. Sixth habit, synergize. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This is about teamwork and producing results as a team. Seventh habit, sharpen the saw. Take time off to rest, relax, and reflect. Pareto's principle is about focusing on the important things and giving them priority above everything else. These are your key drivers in business. The principle states that for many events, 20% of inputs, for example, time, effort, and raw materials, result in 80% of outputs, for example, products, results, or rewards. Some examples in real life. 20% of salespeople make 80% of the sales in companies. 20% of your products result in 80% of your sales. 20% of your apps take up 80% of your app time. This is why most people only use around 5 apps. First, you have to identify the 20 most important tasks, MITS, the myths, that stand out. This is the green on the left circle. Then prioritize them. Give less time and importance to the remainder 80%. This is the blue on the left circle. From a business perspective, this is important. The quality of the customer is more important than the quantity. Who are the top 20% of your customers? You need to ask these specific questions about your top customers. Where are they from? What are they buying regularly? Why are they buying from you? How can you improve their customer experience? When do they make their buying decisions? Okay, so far we've finished section 1 and 2, which is mainly the introduction and explaining the theory, giving you definitions. Now we'll go into a more detailed section on specific tools you can use every day in your life. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and I will think about it and answer them. So I hope you'll have some questions to ask as well. So it can be both ways. You asking me questions and I giving you theory. So please put in the questions and I'll answer them as we go along. Section 3, Tools of the Trade. Extreme preparedness and planning. All major projects start off as a plan on paper only, and the contractors will know how to carry out or execute the plan. All plans must pass the paper test. That is, they must get approved before any action is taken. No action is taken, no money is spent, no raw materials are brought, no team is hired, no code is written until and unless the plan gets approved. 1. Have a plan of approach before taking action. Every action you take requires thorough and meticulous planning in advance of taking the action. 2. Have all your tools and materials ready at hand. For example, a chef will have all the food ready, his utensils, cooking equipment, and recipes. He also has to ensure that his tools are fit for purpose and he knows how to use them correctly. For example, the knife has to be sharp and he has to use it speedily and skillfully without cutting his fingers. 3. Visualize success with your goals. The chef knows what the end dish is and how he's going to prepare it. He is quickly able to satisfy customer demand. If he is asked for multiple salads or variations on the salad, he is able to do it very quickly and speedily. Also, he has to do all this with minimum wastage of food and time. 4. Use scenarios, what if planning, simulation, best case, worst case, and expected case. This is where flexibility and adaptability comes into the planning process. You will need to be able to change your plans on the fly if events suddenly change. For example, a staff is off sick, a supplier's component is discontinued, there are shipment delays for expected cargo, the chef runs out of stock of a certain fresh food like salmon, or customers cancel an order and ask for something else. Everything in life and in the universe has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the story of life and the universe. Also, the story has to follow a script. This is done or executed in a particular order, in the stages or in acts of the play. Each actor knows his script or lines and how his part fits into the play. A high performer knows how the story unfolds and follows the script. A high performer learns from the script or path that other successful people have been through. So firstly, the starting point is the idea. For example, you might decide to learn Spanish, you want to improve your public speaking, or you want to improve on your selling skills. Second comes the planning stage, which involves preparation and lots of market research. Always spend time preparing and planning before taking action, which is step 3. You start the task, take action, and make progress. This involves practice, measurement, and making small improvements. Take action only after you have absorbed and understood all the best information that is available to you at hand. The final step is completion. Complete all the tasks that you start. Dwight Eisenhower was an American Army general and statesman who served as the 34th President of the United States from 1953 to 1961. His famous quote is, "Plans are nothing. Planning is everything." Understand the big difference between a plan and the planning process. Both of these are crucial before taking on a large operation or project and before taking action. The plan will need to be reviewed and updated every few months. And this is all part of the planning process that is dynamic. You have to set goals in your business and for your personal development. So, You have two types of goals: business goals and personal development goals. Goals give us targets to work towards. Goals must be aligned with your life's passion and purpose. The reason for this is because we will need to sustain ourselves over many years in order to see the fruits of our labor. 1. Have short-term and long-term goals. The short-term goals can be achieved in weeks or months. The long-term goals will take years. All short-term goals, or also called sub-goals, need to move you towards your long-term goals. 2. Be prepared to revise or update your short-term goals regularly. Be flexible and adaptable. Be prepared for changes. 3. Develop your skills and the process to execute to get there. You need to work hard on self-improvement and personal development all of the time. All gains in this area will help you towards achieving your goals and vice versa. 4. Celebrate success and achievements. Celebrate small wins with small rewards. For example, having a snack bar, or drinking a smoothie, or taking a walk in the park. You will need lots of small wins in order to achieve the big win. All goals must be SMART goals. They have to be specific. Firstly, it has to be clear and well defined. For example, for a sales goal, you need a specific amount and time frame. The sales this year, 2018, is $1 million. And next year, 2019, we want to increase it by 35% to $1,350,000. Secondly, it must be measurable. We can measure the time taken in weeks or months, and we know the increase in sales every month in dollars. Third, it must be achievable. The goals must be achievable and actionable. You will need to speak to the sales department and get the go-ahead from them, as they will have to execute on this particular task in this example. 4. The goals must be realistic and reasonable within the availability of resources, knowledge, and time. So in this example, for this task, we have a large and capable sales force. We have increased our sales targets in previous years, so we have a track history of this. And also there's a large and growing demand for a product in this country and overseas. Fifth and last point, it must be timely. This tells you how much time you have for the completion of the project, i.e. the timeline. Anthony Robbins is America's top self-development coach. His quote is, "Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible." Roadmap. Only move in the direction of your goals. No detours, diversion, or distractions. You need to start with a roadmap, your business plan. You need to have a compass to go in the right direction towards your destination or goal. Sub-goals. Do things that move you closer to your goal, your large goal or your main goal. Sub-goals are the mini goals that move you in the direction of the big goal. For example, a startup would grow to a scale-up, and then finally it would reach maturity and exit. During productivity and time management workshops, I'm always getting asked questions like, how do I know what goals to set? What goals are the most important? Can you give examples of good goal setting? Let's look at some goals you can set in your business and professional life. 1. Customers. For example, customer experience, their satisfaction or their retention. 2. Teams. Their training, team motivation, and retention of staff. 3. Cash flow and profits. 4. Sales. For example, increase in revenue every quarter or every year. Business goals about the smooth running, growth, and sustainability of the business. Personal goals you can set. 1. Health and well-being. 2. Relationships. 3. Financial independence. 4. Personal development. Personal goals are about your development and improvement in all aspects of your life. Have a to-do list of the things that need to be done. You need to 1. Write down a short list of specific tasks. Keep it short. That is, not more than 5 things that can be counted on one hand. 2. Tasks must be actionable, so move each task to your calendar or diary so you know exactly when and how they need to be done. Once you have decided to pursue a path, you need to follow this up with immediate and impactful action. 3. Only put down the important items. Always prioritize. As the list is small, prioritization is big here. 4. Delegate, outsource, automate as required. Do not get tied down with the task that you can get others to do. So delegate or outsource. Checklists are used to keep tabs on tasks that are required to keep the business ticking. Use them as useful reminders for regular tasks that need completion. For example, backing up of data every month or health and safety checks. All businesses now have a growing technology component. All successful and growing businesses have to use large amounts of technology in their daily functions. Use technology to automate tasks. We are in the era of paperless offices, internet-based communication, software business tools, distributed systems and workforce. Keep up to date with the latest technology and trends. Use technology to your advantage and as an asset. 1. Get the right tech for the task. Select the best technology for each task. 2. Get the best training and get good at the basics. Prepare your staff with good training. Tools are useless without good training on how to use it. This training has to be followed by extensive experience of using the tools and having good supervision and management of your staff during their training period. 3. Learn about digital marketing and social media. Everything is going digital and so is the marketing. That is digital marketing. Automate as much as possible. Use business software packages for all these departments: HR, CRM, finance, digital marketing, product development, project management. Use software systems as much as possible. Avoid putting information on spreadsheets and documents. All of these business functions and processes can be outsourced if you do not want it to be done internally. All big tasks and projects can be broken down into smaller tasks and projects. This is called small chunking of tasks. All big goals can be broken down into sub-goals. We feel comfortable doing and completing smaller tasks every day than having big ones. Completing all the smaller tasks is like putting a large puzzle together in one piece. The first tasks to tackle are A, the ones that will have the biggest impact on the project, i.e. they're mission critical. B, the ones that need a lot of input from other people, for example, from other departments. C, where the supply of goods is from overseas, for example, China or India. And D, where there's a lot of regulation and red tape before you need to start a project, for example, in banking. So, we front load the above task by bringing them forward rather than leaving them towards the end. Right, this matrix is very important because two reasons. One is it is about prioritization, and everyone you speak to these days say, look, I've got 10 different tasks to do every day, 30, 40 tasks to do every week. And there's so much information going in and coming out, and I don't know what to do, what to select, how to do things in priority. The first starting point is always your goal. And this one here is the one you should be focusing on first, the one in red. Do it right away because it's important and urgent. And this one in blue, you should be doing last in the day, towards the end of the day before you go home. Not urgent, not important. The green and the orange you can do sometime in the afternoon, in the middle. But this is important to do first thing in the morning. So this is about prioritization. When you've got a lot of things to do, how do you do them in order? Eisenhower wrote about the importance of planning. Now he is giving us information on how to prioritize tasks into 4 levels or hierarchies. The Eisenhower matrix. It starts by drawing an axis of important on the vertical y-axis and urgent on the horizontal x-axis. Then this creates 4 quadrants. All your tasks can be put into one of these 4 quadrants. Red quadrant, do it now. This needs to be done first. Some examples of these tasks. For example, signing a large sales contract or opening a new store or location. Orange quadrant, do it soon. For example, having regular team meetings or phoning customers to strengthen relationships. Green quadrant, delegate or reschedule. For example, doing spreadsheet analysis of sales figures or completing a company tax return or form for the government. Blue quadrant, avoid or ignore. These tasks can be done last or left for later. Parkinson's law is about the relationship between the time required and the completion of tasks. It states, any project will expand with the time available to complete it without producing better results. The concept is often generalized to refer to the tendency for any available capacity in a given system to be used. It is sometimes referring to the growth of bureaucracy in a large organization or government office. For example, if a task generally takes 2 hours to complete, then if given 3 hours, it will be completed in this new amount of extended time. This is about the expansion of time taken to complete a given task. The more time we allocate to a task, the longer it will take to complete. This will also apply to the size of teams and the time they take to complete a task. Now, the opposite of this law also holds true. For example, if a task generally takes 2 hours to complete, then if given 1.5 hours due to an imminent important deadline, it will be completed in this new amount of contracted time. This is about the contraction of time taken to complete a given task. If you allocate less time to a task, then it will be done quicker. That is, work contracts to fit in the time we give it. So, from the above, we can conclude that we have to be careful with the amount of time we allocate to a given task. Okay, this is a good time to end the seminar because it goes into more and more detail. It's a two-hour session, a 2-hour training course on Udemy. I've given you a special offer here for 5 days for $9.99 if you want to take it. And then you can ask me more specific questions as you do the course. If you're doing this, if you decide to take this course, you have to spend like 10 minutes every day. Do not do this in one sitting. It doesn't work. I will send you a recording. If you'll have any questions now, please, for the next 15-20 minutes, I'll still be here. If you have any questions, type it in the chat box. If you have any generic questions, please send it to me and I will send you this recording and tell you when the next session is. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box now. I'll be here for the next 10-15 minutes, yeah? Yeah, Simon, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it. I understand you have to leave. Excellent. Put your question in the chat box if you have any questions. I'll be here for another 5 more minutes, I think. Enrique, I hope you enjoyed it. I will send you the recording of this recording, don't worry. And hope you find it useful and you can apply this in your life. CA, Carlos, hope you find this very useful. I know Silicon Valley is a very competitive place to be in. There's a lot of very clever people, a lot of people get things done. And it's a very big place as well. So if I can learn something from there, please let me know. So everyone is very competitive, I know that. Best of luck with if you decide to stay in Silicon Valley for some time. I'm doing another one, Carlos, in about 1-2 weeks. Very important actually on investor KPI and I think you've enrolled on it. Investor KPI and metrics, very, very important. So if you can attend that. Iweri, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, Iweri Owaka. Yeah, there's a lot of information to learn. You have to keep, the thing is, you've got to keep practicing it every single day and keep telling yourself, I want to be the best performer. I want to be the highest performer out there. And every day you keep improving. So you go from being average to above average and then to the top tier, which is a high performer or the highest performer. I will not mention what percentage or what, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. You want to go into the top tier. So you have to keep working and practicing every day and you'll get better and better. And within a few months, you'll be much better than any of your peers, people at work, people in your industry. I was curious about breaking down project tasks into smaller chunks. It isn't a method. Oere, what I'm trying to say, a lot of these ideas, I'll do more videos on this, but a lot of these ideas come from engineering because I'm from an engineering background. It just producing things like in Lego blocks. So when you plan, you know it's Lego block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got to do one, but before you even start doing one, you've got to know what 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 looks like and how it's going to fit in. So you do one, you don't see it as a huge project. If you see the engineering task like building a bridge or building a dam or building a nuclear submarine as a project, I mean, it's like huge. There's so many people involved, thousands of people, so many different parts. So you see it as small chunks and they all fit in together. So you have a vision of how these small chunks fit in together. And of course, when you finish task 1 or chunk 1 or Lego block 1, you have to reward yourself, then go on to chunk 2. But you've got to finish one task before you move on to the next. Always finish something. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know what backgrounds you guys are coming from, but this is useful for everyone, whether you're student, startup, founder, professional, everything. This is useful for everyone. I've had people from all different countries attend this seminar, from all different levels, backgrounds. Any more questions? I'll stay for another 2 more minutes. If you have any more questions. Ewere Owaka, if you still have more specific question, I didn't answer it fully, could you just contact me on Meetup or take this course and you can put questions there. If you have more specific questions, you can ask me. I hope I've answered some of your questions. Okay, fantastic, Ewere. Right, I'll stay for 2 more minutes. Any more questions for 2 more minutes before I go?